The Weekly Warp Pipe.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Weekly Warp Pipe.
It's a little late, but happy Halloween.
We're recording on Halloween, so
It's true.
excellent. No more spooky topics, though.
That's right.
Our month of spooky stuff. Maybe later in this month we could do something Thanksgiving related. Thankful games or
We're going to talk about
turkey
wampum.
games. Wampum. Oh yeah, it's got a Indian in it. We'll see. But yeah, I was bruising the internet and
Bruising or perusing?
what's the term?
Were you,
Perusing?
were you like punching the internet and bruising it?
Fighting, get into a fight.
Get into a fight?
But yeah, I thought we wanted to touch on this topic here. I thought it struck my fancy, if you will. But NES box art, why was it so memorable? Why did it stand out? I feel like a lot of us retro gamers maybe latch on to the artwork of the NES. I thought it'd be cool to kind of get our opinions on this here.
Yeah, NES, it's all right, I guess.
It's okay, maybe.
It's okay. I'm not an addict or anything.
You could be an addict too.
You can be an addict too. It's true.
But yeah, I mean, starting off though with NES, they had the black box games, and I feel like with those, because of I guess you could say maybe because of the video game crash, they wanted to be upfront with consumers and show exactly what the game looked like on the covers, right? So it was basically the graphics itself on those
Enlarged.
objects,
Yeah, like
enlarged.
very boxy, pixelated. But this is what it is.
Right. Because then compared to, I mean, you could take it to the generation before, you got Atari box art where the front covers, were just looked like
Beautiful.
graphic novel books covers or, something you would see in a book. And then obviously the graphics are very blocky and
Bleeps and bloops, if you will.
you had to use your imagination and be like, okay, that's supposed to be a dragon and that's the knight,
It's like, hey, Russ, see that square over there? That's a dragon.
that's a dragon.
It's just a green square, Jay. Nope. Dragon.
Use your imagination. But yeah, with going with the NES, there say the black box games, the early games, kind of stand out because of that aspect where they're like upfront with the graphics on it.
Yeah, I mean, and then probably 90% of us got the pack-in game, which was Mario Duck Hunt, right? So like that was the first game you probably saw for most people, unless they got like the control set or whatever, and then just picked out whatever game they wanted along with it. But I would imagine that was the first game a lot of us saw. So it's got to be
Mhm.
nostalgic, right?
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe even seeing that on the store shelf or going to one of the rental stores to rent it.
Or if you were just an early adopter, that's all there was, like Excite Bike and Duck Hunt and Kung Fu and all those black box games. That was probably the majority of what you saw, like in '86.
Right. So it wasn't until a few years after you start to get these more elaborate box arts
Yeah.
that definitely stood out a lot more. I mean, I can jump right in. I know Jade probably agrees. Maybe Castlevania series are some
Oh,
fantastic box arts
look at this fancy cup I have, Russ. I don't know
with
if
the cover of Castlevania 1.
Here it is.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful cover. Love the green in that cover for some reason. And there's kind of like a rainbow gradient on the sides. I don't know if you noticed that.
And also because it's a Konami game, all the Konami games have that like silver
Mm-hmm. Yep, the
aspect
silver
to it,
sides. Yep.
which I thought was interesting with that aspect. You have the publishers kind of have their own design. So you got all the Capcom games with purple in
Right.
it. Konami games are silver. Ultra
Yeah.
did silver as well because they were Konami.
Yep. The subsidiary. Like Tecmo kind of had its own look. You know, I think a lot of a red like band on top maybe for like games like um Mighty Joe. What was it? What's the name of it called?
Oh, Mighty
Mighty
Bob Jack?
Mighty Bomb Jack. I was trying to say Mighty Joe Black, but I was like, I think I was combining 2 different movies, Joe Black and Mighty Joe about the monkey, whatever it was. Anyway, I digress. But yeah, they all kinda had their own little, like, style, so you can kind of notice it from afar, and
Yeah, definitely helps stand out for sure, and like I said, a lot of times, you're going to the rental store, right, and you're seeing these box arts on the shelves, and they have to catch your eye, right? You want to rent this game for the weekend, take it home, and you're just going off of that box art there. Essentially, like, is this going to be a good game? I don't know.
mhm,
Does it stand? Does it catch my eye?
yeah,
Sometimes the what we'd say the simplisticness of the black box games worked, but then later on, they're getting more crazy with the designs. Hiring actual artists
right.
to draw these here.
Well, I think once Nintendo knew that they kinda had a foothold on, the gaming market and that they were kinda selling like hotcakes, it's like, "Alright, we can step away from this black box idea." People realize this system's good and, these games are well made, it's not some Atari crap, and, we could probably do a little more art, so
Right, right. I was
and
gonna
speaking of Konami,
okay.
not to change subjects so quickly, because I know we're talking about Castlevania, and Castlevania 1, 2, and 3 all have incredible box art. And I think I pointed this out to Russ. I don't think Russ realized this, but we talked about this several months ago. But and I'm sure a lot of you do know this, but the whip on Simon's Quest is like the shape of a two for Castlevania 2.
Right, right, for
Kind
2,
of a
it's
little
like a
Easter egg in there, but
Easter
if
egg.
you're not really paying attention, you don't notice it. Um, but the other game I was gonna mention,
Mhm.
Castlevania or, sorry, Konami Classic, I think Russ will agree with me, Contra has an incredible cover.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. I mean, and that's playing definitely into there was comparisons with, obviously, the '80s stars of Arnold Schwarzenegger on there, where you're like, "Okay, he was in this pose," and you're like,
Right.
Stallone, you're like,
Yep.
the 2 biggest action stars, you're like, obviously, they wanna mimic that.
Yep. And then that cool, like, xenomorph type alien in the background.
Right, yeah, and then play into aliens because they're fighting aliens that come to
Yep.
Earth or whatever, and they wanna
Just so cool. And I just love that C too. That C reminds me of, I'm gonna throw out another Konami name, but Life Force.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the fire in that one stage that, like, kind of swirls on the scene onto the screen, not scene, or both.
Or both. Yeah, this definitely stands out where if you were a kid in the '80s, early '90s, into those action movies, you're like, "This screams
Yeah,
right like that." You're like, "Oh, okay." Maybe you saw Predator or
right. I mean, even so much as the red bandana on the Sylvester Stallone type guy looking like Rambo over there.
Right, right, to play off of that, you're like, "Oh, man, this game's probably gonna be awesome."
And you would be right if you thought that.
Sweet. Um, what would you think, say, NES games maybe stand out opposed to other consoles, right? Compared
Yeah,
to
I don't know
maybe
exactly.
reasons
I
why.
mean, I would I gotta be honest, I would have to say, if I'm being truthful, I think there's standout covers on every system. I don't think NES necessarily stands out better than others. I mean, Super Nintendo had some fantastic ones too. I think NES is just a super nostalgic system because it came along right at the right time when all of us were coming of age. We weren't little teeny tiny kids anymore. We were 7, 8, 9 years old, and we wanted bigger kid stuff. And
Mhm.
our memories may be a little more solid. It's hard to think back to like the early '80s for us, early '80s kids. Maybe if you were a late '70s kid, you might remember a bit more. So like I remember Atari stuff, but I really remember NES stuff.
Right.
So I have a feeling it was just the time it came out. So, and I mean, they did do some incredible work to make some really epic cover art. Like, I mean, my mind instantly goes to, and this is a a softball I'm gonna toss up to you, but Super Mario 3.
Yeah, well, again, yeah, a simplistic but stands out, right? You got that bright yellow box, and you got Mario on the cover with like a new power up you never seen before, and you're like, okay, but it's just so in your face with that yellow that they chose.
Yeah. It was like a
Opposed to
perfect color.
right, if it was just black like the first game, and then you just had Mario on there, you'd just be like, meh, okay. I feel
Yeah.
like the yellow just grabs that attention so
But,
much
like
more.
but, like, piggybacking off what I was saying a minute ago, like, I think every system has this style, covers. Like, I would dare to say Super Mario World, the cover of that was equally as effective. They didn't use a yellow coloring, but they used what, blue? And then they had those different colored Super Mario World letters that matched, like, what are those blocks called in that game that you have to get to fill in the holes?
Oh, like the
Switch Palace. The
I would
Switch
say
Palaces,
the
yeah.
exclamation ones.
Yeah, the little Switch Palace blocks. But,
Yeah.
so I think that cover is equally as epic. Once again, just like you said, Mario's on a new power up. He's on Yoshi. You see his cape.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I think it was used for other systems too. But I mean, I think the NES just is that sweet spot.
Right, and I do feel like there's a lot more like when I've been going to conventions, there's people that print the covers, right, of games, and I always see, Metroid, Super Mario,
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3, like
Yep.
these posters basically, or even I've seen little magnets, and it's a lot of NES box heavy, where maybe like you said, we it's just that perfect of nostalgia where Atari's not hitting for most of us retro gamers. Maybe it's the more people are into the Nintendo
The
era.
the other thing I'll say is I think that the shape of the NES box just lends well to artwork. The Super NES box was more elongated, like from left to right, but like the NES is like north to south, and it looks more like a portrait, like you said. Like that's why I think they make such great posters because they're already like shaped like
They're
a
already good.
poster.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Fits good on the wall. I dig it. We did ask you guys what stands out. I figured we could piggyback off of that. What the people were saying. We often post on our social medias, and you can chime in on that over either on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook page. It's all the weekly warp pipe, and we can see what you guys are talking about.
What did you say? What did you say?
Springfield, let's hear from you.
All right, let's take a look on Facebook. See what people said here. Neil posted. We got a people. Oh, Neil basically just posted three fantastic covers
I
here
love it. I love it.
of Double Dragon 2, The Revenge.
Yes. Look
I
at
think
that.
there's a lot going on. It almost feels like a comic book cover you would,
Yeah, like an '80s movie.
it's got some text on here based on the hit arcade game, new martial art moves, 9 incredible missions, and it just shows an epic scene of like the two brothers fighting off all these bad guys.
And a super hot chick being saved.
That's it. Always gotta save the lady.
That's right.
And then Castlevania, like you said.
Oh, look at that color gradient. See how it's like dark blue and then it's green
Yeah,
and then yellow and then like
right.
red. That
The
looks so
castle almost
rad.
has a little yellow tint into it and then fades into the green here.
Yeah, that just looks so fantastic. And that bright green they chose for Castlevania on that red just pops so good. And I love the lines,
That's
like
what I was gonna
the
say, very interesting with these line
mhm.
works.
I don't exactly understand what that does, but something about it looks excellent.
And then he did post as well, Super C, the sequel to Contra.
Yeah, also great.
Again, with the lines down the side here, you get a little bit more animated version of the, characters rather on the first cover. It was, based off of it looked like Stallone and Arnold there. Feel like
Yeah.
these are more cartoon there, but still jumps out. And you got that C again,
Yep.
nice and fire sticking out.
Yeah. I think that's like Konami's calling card.
Right. They love their C.
Yeah.
What else we got? We got Instagram. We'll jump over there. We got Dragon Punch Dave chiming in. NES box art. has been particularly memorable to me because it effectively captured the essence of the game, conveying its emotion and themes, even if it didn't directly depict the gameplay itself. However, the most outstanding NES box art has gone beyond traditional boundaries, leaving a lasting impression that lingers in the mind for years or even decades.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
That's well said. Well said. Yeah, definitely agree with that. Like I said, we're still buying posters of it 20 years later
That's right.
to hang up.
Love it. Love it. Some back here somewhere.
And then let's see over on our YouTube page and the community tab, we have Retroholic 16. For me, I don't remember the boxes a whole lot. I'm 39 and I grew up with an NES, but most of the games we got were used, cart only, or we rented a ton from Blockbuster and King Scoopers, which is
Huh.
our local grocery store.
Wow.
Now, as an adult, I see them and collect them since it was something I couldn't afford as a kid.
Hmm.
Well, I will say, I mean, the box art was same as the label art on the NES carts, so you at least still got the same image, right? Just not as wide, I guess. And we got River City Ransom. Well, each box is completely different, right? Like moving forward, every system has the name of the system across the top or the side of every single game. But for NES, each game had the whole box to play with and no top label or side label always taking up space.
I'd say that's a good thought.
Yeah, this way you get more real estate for that artistic um, direction you want it to go with it, whether it's a Super Mario 3 where you just do all yellow
Well,
name and the character or
yeah, I would say that's slightly accurate, slightly inaccurate. Because while every Super Nintendo box has that same kind of surrounding logo, and Sega either had the red Genesis thing on the top or the black and white gradient background, it was almost like developers kind of got that space, like the Konami with the silver or ultra,
right, right.
but it did vary it more. They did look, you know, they looked a lot more different because of that. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Am I articulating myself well
Yeah.
enough?
And again, I do like how they almost you can get like a subset where if you get all the Konami games, they all are similar and you
Yeah.
know it's from that series. And then
Yep.
I feel like that wasn't anything on like Sega or Super Nintendo. Like they lost that
Yep. It was like
feature
the
with
it
the
was like the
systems.
main focus was the fact that it was Super Nintendo. Maybe a Capcom stamp to the left, but it wasn't like Capcom or Konami.
Right. You never got those full color boxes.
Right.
Like all those you get Rescue Rangers, Darkwing Duck, the
Mhm.
Mega Man games, they're all purple.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, it stands out. You know it's a Capcom game,
That's
right?
right.
It looks cool.
Yeah.
Whatever
What are
reason they like purple.
what are some of your favorites?
Favorite box art.
Like, give me like
Um
10. Like
10. Just right off the bat. Bing, bang, bang, boom,
rapid
boom, boom.
fire 10.
Rapid fire.
Tell them to me, Russ.
All right, let's see. We'll go with I got a poster of it signed and it definitely stands out. Mega Man 2.
Yeah. Love Mega
Even
Man
though
2.
he's holding a gun, right? Gun on
A
that one? I'm trying to
pistol.
think of the
Gonna
first
squirt
one.
you with his pistol.
Let's see, Mega Man 2. We'll pull this up here. Yeah, he's got the little pistol there. But I met the guy that drew it out when I was in Portland, and I got him to sign me a
Because
print of it.
was it the story he didn't really know?
Yeah, they didn't give him much like information, and he had to do it very quickly. So he just kind of went with this
Well,
here.
it's funny because he did a great job despite the fact that it's not a gun.
Right. You're like, okay. I mean, whatever. He has a blaster that comes out. And why
Yeah,
is
like,
his ankle slightly broken over here?
he's moving, he's shaking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I don't know. Yeah, it just looked like so much action going on. You got two of the bad guys here. Like it looks very futuristic. Mega Man. You're like, okay.
Mhm.
And you
Love
got
it.
that sweet border. I don't know. It just pops with it. with the colors on there for sure.
Yeah,
That one was a great one. Again, I like the Castlevania series always stood out as well.
right. You can't you kind of can't really go wrong with 1, 2, or 3 on those.
Yeah, right, right. One that stands out, great for me, and good for good for tonight would be Monster Party.
Oh yeah, Monster Party's epic.
I think that stands out for sure. Like I love it like a t-shirt or something like that there with all the you got the
Yeah.
classic monsters on here. You got Dracula, Medusa, um, Creature from the Black Lagoon. I don't know what that skeleton looking person is, and then like Little Shop of Horrors there, but
And what is that red thing? Satan itself?
I mean, it looks like a Sasquatch, almost like he's got hair.
It's kind of terrifying.
But again, that purple, that pop purple and green is such a
Yeah, and that's a Bandai.
right. No, it's not Capcom, but it stands out. I think as like a that's good like Halloween colors, right? Purple and
I
green.
freaking love that game too.
I
The
wish
only
I could
level
love
I
it all.
hate,
It gets so difficult. I've
well,
beaten it before, but
there's just one level that they made 3 terrible choices on. I think I've mentioned this before. They give it an annoying noise, so you're listening to this like repetitive, like whistling sound. There's thunder that strikes, so it's flashing. So you're listening to this annoying sound. You're trying not to
yeah.
have an epileptic seizure. All the while, every door takes you to some other door. It's like this crazy maze, and if you don't have it memorized, it will drive you insane. I
Oh
did it
yeah.
once legit. I made it through one time legit, but I had to put the thing on mute to get through it.
Oh wow. You just put your own soundtrack on.
I just turned it off and I just listened to nothing. But those 3 things together are enough to make you wanna hit the power button and turn it off. But if you get through that, it's an excellent game.
Yeah.
Anyway, I digress. I know we're talking about box art.
What about this one here?
Ooh, love Ninja Gaiden. There's that Tecmo red on the bottom.
Right. Again, stands out good. You got your ninja so buff on the top.
Dude,
Uh,
his biceps and deltoids are just incredible. Just go ahead and sign me up.
Ninja Gaiden with like this cool I guess Japanese font above it, so you know what it is. And ninjas were so big in late 80s, 90s.
Oh, yeah.
So they knew what they're doing with this here. The city's in fire. You're like, what is this?
I mean, I may or may not have had a club at my church called the Ninja Club, and we found ninja mask at the dollar store. I bought 3 of them. And we wore our ninja mask, and we actually wore hats over them, so we looked super rad.
Nice. I dig it. Was this
Oh,
before Three Ninjas came out?
yes, this was before 3D. This was like
Oh, how about
1988
that?
and 89. Oh, but one thing I just noticed, it says "The Fight of Your Life." How right were they?
Oh, yeah. Next to Tecmo here. A
Yeah,
strategic encounter, the fight of your life.
yeah.
And what's I never even noticed biggest arcade hit because I've never played this in the arcade like before.
Oh, what's so
Like
dumb is it's completely different.
right, it's a different game from you see some similarities, but I definitely prefer the NES one over the arcade one.
Me too.
So that one definitely stands out for me. Great one. What other ones can hit the list that I think stand out? Let me go through my little app here that I have in my collection.
Do you want
Because
me to
when
throw some your way?
you could, yeah, I'll get
Let's
some.
go Batman.
Go Batman. Let's pull it up.
I mean, the movie in 1989, everybody had Batmania. That was the
Batmania.
first that was the first thing I really remember being marketed so well. I love the blue clouds. Like, this part reminds me of the movie when the, Batwing flies up,
Absolutely, that's got to be like what they're going with.
freezes, and then drops back down. But, like, just look at that, man. Like, that's all you need is that logo, and you're like, "Sign me up today. Give me Batman right now."
I mean, it's almost no different than the Batman cereal box, other
Yeah,
than adding the
yeah.
blue sunsoft at the top and the blue clouds in there.
Here you go.
What do you? Jay's got the cereal box right there.
Mhm.
Very similar.
Very similar.
Yeah.
Um, uh And then, I'm gonna give you 2 more because I don't know which one I like better.
Oh, okay.
Disney's DuckTales and Rescue Rangers. If I had to pick, maybe I would say Rescue Rangers.
Oops, I gotta put NES. Duh. I'm spelling Ducktail. Disney's wrong.
But like, so you know what's interesting? That yellow for Launchpad's little ship there is almost
Yeah.
like Mario 3 yellow.
Yeah, it's a very bright yellow for
That's
sure.
a very thin strip of land. The Beagle Boy, Beastie, what is it? Beagle
Beagle
Boys are.
Boys, yeah.
About call them the Beastie Boys.
And I do find it interesting that some of the Capcom games have this little save up to $10 like coupon on the front of the boxes here just to let
Yeah,
you know, like, okay, you're gonna get some other games from us.
yeah. But that one and Rescue Rangers both awesome. Darkwing Duck too, really. Um, let's see. Let me look back at my games and see what strikes me back this way.
Fair enough, fair enough. I'm gonna say it here. I got one while you're searching there, which kind of fits with the theme for tonight while we're recording. I think it's a great cover. Not a great game. Another Bandai title. We're saying
Ooh,
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
there you go.
It's a fantastic cover that definitely stands out. Maybe because obviously right there you can see AVGN did the reviews on it and it kind of got famous because of that there. But I think they did a great job like showcasing this and stands out. It's got that big bold font of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde on the front, almost like horror movie-ish, like B movies, I want to say. And the makeup on the character right there is fantastic. Him turning into Hyde,
Yeah, looks
battle
cool.
demons with Hyde, psycho wave, and you kind of have you can see these little lines coming out of his eye, almost hypnotic, like
Yeah, the
very
Psycho
cool.
Wave.
Stands out. I dig it. I got that one in box. There's a few NES games where I'm like, I really want to make sure I have the box of these because I love the art so much.
Yeah.
So when I was like actively retro hunting, I was like, let me see if I can find the box, the manual, like get it all together.
So here's one I didn't fully appreciate as a kid because I didn't know the backstory, but as an adult, I think it's incredible. The original Ninja Turtles with all the red bandanas.
Oh yes, yeah.
Love that box now. But as a kid, I was so confused
Yeah,
why
I
they
guess I
all
would be
had
too if you
red.
didn't know. Like, wait, Leo's supposed to have blue.
Yeah, I was like, "What?" I was like, "Who did this? Who ruined this?" But
Who ruined this?
I still think it's amazing. But well, here's the thing, even in the game, they all have the different colors. So why didn't they just give them the different color? I mean, I still think it's kinda sick that they're all red because wasn't that the original, like, way they were drawn? And
Right. So
then
this
once it
is
was made to a cartoon, they kinda decided to give them different personalities and colors to kind of help differentiate who they were.
see if I could if we'll pull it up. This is from I think
Mhm.
the cover, which they
Yep.
pulled from. So that's kind of it expanded over
Number
here.
4. Yeah, wow.
Eastman's and Leonard's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So they're like, all right, this would be a sick cover. We'll pull it from there. I've seen people do like reprints of the cover where they change their bandanas. Like if you wanted to go to
Right.
uh what was the site? Coverart.net, I think. And you could print your own like covers and whatnot. People have done that, which is kind
And
of
the
neat.
other thing that's interesting to me is when they came out as toys, they all had, like, their own distinct green color, but this is kind of the Raphael green from the toys.
Right. Where Donnie had like a darker green. He's always
Yeah,
been darker.
yeah, and,
But
Donnie was almost like had a brown green.
right.
Michelangelo had, like, a forest green, and then Leonardo had, like, his green was even a little different too. But, anyway, I just think that cover's sick.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that stands out for sure. But anyone being a turtle fan and just getting that, you're like, nice. It's
What about,
freaking
like, Iron Sword?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I could see that standing out too. We'll bring that one up. The classic um with Fabio, right?
I think so, I think that's yeah.
That's Fabio on the
Yep.
cover.
Yeah.
Wizards and Warriors 2,
Yeah.
Iron Sword. and you got Fabio who does. I can't
Looks
believe it's not
very
butter
Conan.
commercials.
Looks very Conan O'Brien. I mean, not Conan O'Brien. Oh my God, Conan the Barbarian. Dude, why have I been butchering everything I say tonight?
Like, why wouldn't they get
Conan O'Brien.
Arnold, who played Conan in the movie, I guess maybe he would have cost more. I feel like Fabio is just as high paid like model, right? You're
Yeah, I
probably
don't
paying
know.
the same amount.
Who knows?
Who knows? I will say this is a little bit leaning towards that Atari
Little
where
bit, little
this
bit.
doesn't depict what the because then you play as a knight that's fully covered
Yeah.
in
Yep.
armor,
Yep.
not shirtless. He doesn't get a long sword like
This
that.
this was to get all your moms to buy it.
Possibly. Because I'm trying to say what was the first one, Wizards and Warriors NES. Almost similar. So
Yeah.
it's like a hand drawn scene, but the guy's still shirtless and got a big sword and all that. So it's like they never went with an armored guy for some reason.
Yeah, it's weird, right? This is a little more like Castlevania-esque.
Right, because you instead of Dracula in the background, you got this evil wizard back here.
Like that guy could almost be like Simon Belmont's friend,
Right,
Eric
right.
Lacard or something. I don't know.
All right, what about this one here? I feel like this stands out if you're into horror, right? You know where I'm going with this one.
Yes.
Friday the 13th.
Some interesting things about that cover. The swirl of colors.
Right. Yeah, it being a horror game, there's a lot of colors out here.
Yeah.
You-
Like like that green and yellow, like speckled top part almost
yeah,
gives me Predator vibes.
right. I don't know what they're going with. Maybe like part of the green in the campsite, like
I
that's part
don't
of the
know.
graphics. I don't know.
Maybe, but I mean, it's very interesting. I would love to like speak to the person who did this because I love that Jason's on it. You know, looking scary as ever. But there's so much color, and it's you don't really pay attention to it because Jason's the focal point. But when you really start
Right.
looking at it, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely stands out. What's great is too, well, you wouldn't confuse this for the VHS or the movie because that cover would look different. They have Jason on there, which almost looks like a screen cap from one of the movies,
Yeah, it is
right? It's very
fuzzy.
realistic and little fuzz on it. But then they chose to like just do this diagonal strip
Yeah,
to
it's
add some
interesting.
color, and then there's black on the left, black on the right, where you can put your logos with Nintendo and LJN and all that. So instead of taking up the whole real estate of the box, which they could have, and just had the woods in the background, they're like, put like a rainbow thing coming out behind them.
Yeah, you know, and something else that just is kind of weird thing I noticed, but it says Power Play series. And
Right. I'm
and
curious what else is in the Power Play series. What
Power
other
play
games?
is a hockey term, and I just thought, "Hey, that makes no sense." But then I was like, "Wait a minute, he does have a hockey mask, so
Could be
maybe it
onto
makes
something.
more sense than I thought."
Yeah. What other games were in the Power Play
I
series?
have no idea.
NES Power
Power
Play
play.
series. Um,
Back to the Future. Power play.
yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, if the other covers have this, well, the NFL game here by LGN as well. Just
Hmm.
NFL Power Play
Maybe
series.
it was an LJN thing.
It could have been an LJN thing. Yeah,
Very cool.
yeah, because Roger Rabbit right here, Power Play
Is
series.
that Pictionary? Is Pictionary Power play?
Where's picture? Oh, right here. Yeah, it is.
Hmm.
Oops, where'd
Weird.
it go?
There's the NES satellite.
So never noticed that. We'll do a
Yeah.
deep dive into our favorite Power Play series.
Power play.
There's another sub series
There
you
you
can
go.
dive into.
Dive in. Don't get lost. Um, what else? What about like Jaws?
Yeah,
That would
yeah, I'd say Jaws
it's
kind of
kinda similar to the Jason, it has the mascot and or the
right.
main character, I guess.
They did the same. I'm very curious if they had the same artist kind of do this because again, it has that. Could have been the LJN person. They're just like all of them going to have this horizontal thing where we got to play with and get the image on there. But it works instead of having the whole image be
Yeah.
water.
Yep, must've been an LJN thing.
But it stands out. Like I said, I think these little details with the NES box art makes it stand out a little bit more than maybe some of the other series, Super Nintendo's, Sega Genesis, Atari, and all that, having these consistent details in the box art, almost subsets where you're like, oh yeah, those are the LJN games. Like they did this. Capcom had the purple, so it kind of makes us gravitate towards those, remembering those maybe more because they were done like that. Had it just been Jaws, all ocean, you see the shark, and you're like, yeah, I mean, it looked just like the movie poster, like whatever.
Right. What about Battletoads?
Yeah, I feel like Battletoads is a good classic one.
I think Battletoads is interesting. I remember my friend Mark had it, and I just always thought that it was like a complete Ninja Turtles ripoff.
Yeah, I mean, you got this
There's more
animal.
purple and green, Russ.
I love my purple and green.
Man, I think we were finding out that purple and green is just the way to go. And I don't know if you guys know this, but the weekly Warp Pipes logo is purple and green too.
That's what I said. I gotta keep with that color scheme. I mean,
That's it.
I think I used my color wheel to see what complements green.
There
Good,
you
Warpipe
go.
green, and it was purple. Yeah, I mean, this stands out again. They're probably obviously trying to gear towards the same fan base that likes Ninja Turtles,
Yeah.
so they want to stand out a little bit. And the logo's sweet on this,
Yeah.
and it looks just like a comic book,
Yep.
right? Comic book cover. These superheroes, you got big spikes on, like big muscles.
Yeah. Except this time the rats are the enemies and not your master.
That's true. That's true.
Oh, you know what, Russ? I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I see you had a thought there. Go ahead and get it out.
No, I was just gonna try to find any others more. You got something?
Mario 2.
Okay,
I mean, we
bring that
mentioned
one up.
3. We got to mention 2.
Might as well go through all of them.
Yeah. 2 is just so epic. And I feel like just showing the power-ups is like there he is. He's got a beat in his hand. He's gonna beat you down with the beat. Flying through the clouds. Mario Madness. That's an interesting thing too.
Right, a little tagline. You're like, why is it Mario Madness? Like, is
Yeah.
that the
Am
craze
I gonna
now?
go crazy now playing this game? Probably.
Probably.
Oh, look. Hey, you know what else I noticed?
Yeah.
What was the fix that they fixed on Mario 3 to make it a variant cover?
Oh, right. It's the word bros, depending where they put it on the left side or the right side.
Look at that. Is that where that originated from? Are
Could have
we
been.
breaking new ground talking about this? Has anyone ever discussed Bros being on the left of Mario 2 as well?
So here it is under the RIO. But then let's see. Do we have a?
Left Bros.
I guess I could just put left
It's under
bros.
the MAR. You know, Tyler from My Retro Life, his original Mario 3 was a Left Bros. They must have bought that thing quick. But
Yeah.
what do you bet that this was pulled straight from Mario 2? When they're like, oh, this is how they did it on Mario 2. Let's do it this way.
There we go. There's a
And
good
then
card
someone's like,
version.
that's stupid. Move it over.
Yeah, I feel like it's intruding like onto where his hand is, like,
Yeah,
and you have all this negative space
right.
where the bros could be, and you can just have Mario's hand up higher.
But when you're looking at it, it looks an awful lot like Mario
Mario
2.
2, right.
I
But
don't
it just
I
works better where Mario 2 placed it, I guess.
In the comments below, you let me know if you've ever heard someone bring this up before, or is Jay the first person to draw this to attention on the
Because this
internet?
too, his hat's also a little bit onto Mario, right? So that if they put it over here, it would be way in the way, right? So it had to go left to his head.
I'm just saying, Russ. I don't think people have discussed this before. I'm breaking new ground on the internet, Russ.
New ground.
NES addict.
I dig it. Yeah. NES box art definitely stands out for us. And like I said, I love getting, I have the Friday the 13th box art t-shirt I picked up, which was awesome. I've seen a ton of the NES box art t-shirts at conventions. I can't say I ever seen, like you said, it's tough with Super Nintendo because it's that
Yep.
long way. It doesn't make for a good t-shirt or poster. Sega Genesis, I'm sure would work
Yeah,
as
it
well,
works because of those boxes they were in.
but I don't see it as often as NES.
Nope. NES is the best.
NES is the best.
There you had it.
Any other ones that stand out you want to mention before we wrap it up?
I mean, for some reason, Skate or Die stands out to me too.
Yeah,
I think it's just
Skater
because I
Die
had that
series.
game as a kid.
Would you say? I mean, I would think looking at the box art, that would definitely influence whether you're going to get the game, purchase the game.
Yeah,
Skater Die.
I got another
NES.
one too after that.
This one there.
Like, look how awesome that looks.
Definitely 80s. Like, could probably see that influence from like a skate magazine. I bet you like this
Yeah,
font is probably from there with all these like
it looks like a
circles and wavy lines
it
like
looks
in
like
this
a
one.
Rad Dog Trapper Keeper.
Right. Yeah, they're playing off of that for sure. The big knee pads and elbow pads and everything. All
Vert or
these like
dirt,
brush
bro.
marks. Skate or die.
Yeah, that should have been the follow up. Vert or dirt.
Oh,
Ooh,
you
look at
do that.
that.
You do the ROM hack. John Riggs, where you at?
Vert or dirt. Get it
Vert
going.
or dirt.
That reminds me of a series you did, Russ. What am I thinking of?
Oh,
Pass or play. There we go.
that's right. The pass or place it. I may be able to bring that back now since they started doing they did 3-minute YouTube shorts,
Ooh,
which kind of doesn't make them that short anyways, but you
longs.
could do a lot with 3 minutes. And that series, when I did the full videos, they probably were, I stretched them maybe to be 5 minutes, but I'm doing
Yeah.
a 60-second review on the game and then telling you whether to pass or play on it. So I could probably do some shorts of that. We'll see. So, hey, if you're not following me on YouTube, search Russ Lyman. I got my YouTube channel on there. Give me a follow.
What about Totally Rad, Russ?
Oh, yeah, yeah. Let's dig it up.
Nothing's radder than Totally Rad, Russ.
This one stands out for sure.
Like,
Again, Super Mario 3, right? You got this
you got
yellow.
that yellow, yeah. But like, you want to know what that pink-haired monster is. What is
Right.
that thing?
You're like, what is happening? He's coming out of the box. You got this cool 80s font. Totally rad. Yeah, that's words we
Yeah, that
use.
looks like
Like,
that word totally reminds me of like Saved by the Bell font or something.
right, right. And rad could be like, I don't know. It's got this green and like these
Hey,
Aztec
Russ,
looking letters
green,
on it.
purple, Mario yellow.
Ooh, it's pretty good. Pretty good color scheme.
I like it.
Color theory there. Sweet. So, NES box art definitely holds a place in our heart, and we love
Heart
seeing
in
it.
your heart.
Let us know in the comments if you're watching on YouTube, which are some that stand out to you. And you could give us a call too. We have a phone number. If you want to give us a buzz, 949-682-9277. That's 949-682-9277. Leave us a voicemail. We'll play it on the show. Be sure to hit up theweeklywarpipe.com for more information. And shout out to our top Patreons. We got Dan and Nicole's Treasures Untold, Joe Sheevy, Trace Livingood, Samantha Chang, Rodney Torres, Retroholic16, and Austin Mills supporting us on Patreon. We appreciate you guys and everyone out there. Quick shout out to Mike Butler over at Forgotten Cinema Podcasts. He hooked us up, threw us on his network. So now on Spotify and iTunes, we are now back on there up to date. So I don't have to use the archive.org anymore. So he got that situated. So if you guys are listening on those you should be up to date on our episodes.
But don't worry, when he threw us, it did not hurt. Dad jokes.
There we go. All right, guys. Well, thanks for jumping in the warp pipe with us, and we will see you on the next level.